You could tell Cloud didn't feel any pressure at this moment. He became relaxed and gentle here. This moment highlights how sensitive these two are to each other's emotions. They are becoming more aware of this, especially as the scene progresses. Remember this point as it will be emphasized even more later. What's up? It's MLW JRPG coming at you with another analysis video. I'm going to go over the water tower sequence in Nibelheim between Cloud and Aerith. The interactions, the dialogue, the scenery, the music, everything here is top tier, and a lot of you are huge fans of these scenes, as am I. There is a specific scene here that is one of the devs' favorites as well. I'll mention which dev that is later. But before we get into the scenes here, we need to first discuss the build up to this scene, which gives us context and reasons for why it played out. When the party reaches Nibelheim at the start of chapter 11, a scene starts that immediately shows Cloud and Tifa visibly unsettled. Based on chapter 1, we know why this is the case, and if you're an FF7 OG player. Even Barrett said, "Don't scare me like that. Thought Cloud might have lost it before Nanaki nudged him to get him to stop." The scene shows that the party is well aware of how Cloud and Tifa are feeling, and of course, this includes Aerith. Cloud and Tifa's reactions are showcased even more as the party walks into town. Both are uncomfortable, confused, and lost at what they are witnessing. I needed to explain Cloud's feeling uncomfortable and unsettled to set the foundation for the scenes with Aerith at the water tower. Now we can get started on the water tower scenes.
Question, this always been here?
Yeah.
It totally screams, climb me, doesn't it? So, let's give the poor thing what it wants and see the sights.
Hey, don't just...
Aerith is and has always been in tune with Cloud's feelings. She is taking this opportunity to learn about Cloud's hometown from him, but her real intentions are to put him at ease and make him feel secure about returning to Nibelheim. And in classic Aerith fashion, she wasn't giving Cloud an option. Thus, she immediately climbs up the tower and she knew he'd follow. Cloud is slightly concerned here and his inner bodyguard alarm is just going off. He needs to get up there and make sure she is okay and safe. At this moment, many people might miss it. Let's go back a few seconds. As soon as Cloud sees Aerith at the top of the tower, she looks back at him and smiles. See it? Right there? Look at that smile. You can also see Cloud instantly becomes relieved because he starts slowing down and looking around.
To look at this place, you'd never know.
Yeah.
You can't help but notice what happens right here. Aerith invites Cloud to sit right next to her, and again, she gives him another smile. And you see Cloud sigh and he starts looking off. Cloud immediately shows he's juggling thoughts and emotions inside of him. You have to remember the conversation back in Gongaga a couple of chapters ago. After talking with Zack's parents, Aerith starts opening up to Cloud about how she feels wrong about that conversation, which leads her to bringing up Zack. She asks Cloud if he remembers her telling him about Zack back in Evergreen Park in the Sector 6 slums. This led to Cloud immediately acting jealous that she was even mentioning Zack again, and the possibility that she has feelings for him. So then Cloud was super straightforward and outright asked Aerith if she still liked Zack.
So, this Zack guy, you still like him?
Wow, you went there, huh?
Aerith told Cloud that she had no reason to dislike him. She gave him an honest answer. She doesn't have any reason to dislike or hate Zack. It's just not in her character to hate anyone. Well, unless your name is Hojo, of course. When Aerith clearly wants him to sit by her, Cloud at the water tower shows he's having an internal struggle. He's obviously concerned about her potentially having feelings about Zack, which makes his feelings complex, which is why he hesitates to sit by Aerith. Oh, and by the way, in the next chapter, you can apply the same explanation to why he doesn't initially opt to sit by Aerith during the gondola ride. Again, it's that same internal struggle that Cloud is clearly battling with.
So, which one's your house?
That one.
Aw, looks cozy. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that.
No, don't worry about it. It's all new to you.
Right away, we reach yet another powerful aspect of Cloud and Aerith's dynamic. Aerith's curiosity led her to ask about Cloud's home. When Cloud pointed his home out, he started having an episode with his memory and he started struggling. Aerith immediately noticed his visible and intense struggle with his painful memory. She apologized right away and quickly changed her tone to empathetic and caring, showcasing her ability to bring Cloud back from his painful memories and her deep understanding of his condition. Aerith is and has always been aware of when this happens to Cloud. We can go back to the start of chapter 8 when the party arrives at the gold saucer. Cloud thinks he saw Sephiroth here and the internal struggle with his psyche starts. Aerith grabbed Cloud's hand and immediately got him to snap out of it. Again, she was compassionate and caring toward Cloud here.
That building right there is the inn, where I stayed 5 years ago. You got the town hall, the general store, and that there, Tifa's house.
Okay, this moment was amazing to me. Notice how Cloud reacts to Aerith when she apologizes and he sees her facial expression. Considering the intense circumstances and the whirlwind of emotions Cloud is navigating, his ability to maintain composure and comfort Aerith is truly remarkable. He could have easily reacted with indifference or even blamed her, and then he goes on giving her the grand tour of Nibelheim. You could tell Cloud didn't feel any pressure at this moment. He became relaxed and gentle here. This moment highlights how sensitive these two are to each other's emotions. They are becoming more aware of this, especially as the scene progresses. Remember this point as it will be emphasized even more later. And then we reach this point here, where there are several things to point out here. But first would be the waves by Tifa and Aerith. Have to give a shout out here as it was an adorable arty moment. Loved it. But what was really interesting here was Cloud's reaction. Right away, I think that Cloud, well again, you have to remember, has a lot of thoughts circulating in that noggin of his. And now we add this particular moment where even more thoughts are thrown into the mix. More childhood memories are coming into play here. As Cloud joins Soldier due to the lack of acknowledgement from Tifa and others in Nibelheim. He wanted to be noticed and not invisible. Cloud was a loner. Tifa and her crew didn't look his way and never invited him to hang out. Cloud wanted nothing more than that. Very likely that Cloud is thinking about all of this, along with everything that is currently going on, being back in Nibelheim at this moment.
So let me guess. This is where you kept a lookout.
Huh?
Come on, you never came up here hoping she'd wave?
Probably. Sounds like something I'd do.
Aerith is such a highly intuitive individual, especially when it comes to Cloud. She said, "So let me guess, this is where you kept lookout," because she noticed how Cloud was acting here. Aerith picked up on that and realized it was due to young Cloud in relation to Tifa. Furthermore, she saw Cloud's somewhat confused and surprised reaction, and then she phrased her question in a way to where it wasn't invasive nor demanding. She's gently pulling Cloud along to speak on this. She sees in the past Cloud had some feelings toward Tifa. The affinity option probably sounds like something I do is the 3-star choice, meaning it is the quote-unquote best response. It's the best response because Cloud was open and honest, which is all that Aerith was seeking. She intended to lead Cloud to open up and be honest with her. This exchange is great. It's one of the many ways that their dynamic works. Aerith leads Cloud, bringing him out of his shell and allowing him to share his thoughts and feelings.
If I was in your shoes, I would have been up here all the time.
I'm gonna head down.
Think I'm good where I am. I'll see you later.
Earlier in the video, I mentioned water tower scenes. Plural. Well, this moment is why I said scenes. Technically, the sequence consists of the scene you just watched, and then another scene starts here if you interact with Aerith. It's pretty safe to assume that most players will simply press the triangle button that is clearly visible on your screen here and let the scene play out. The only reason one would not is because they are intentionally choosing to do so, and well, that's pretty unfortunate for the ones who opt to ignore her here. Before the next scene starts, I want to back up to this line of dialogue here by Cloud. "I'm gonna head down." It's crazy how different this line is in JP. In JP, Cloud says, "Let's head down." This line is much more impactful and makes more sense here for several reasons. First, Aerith's reply here, "Think I'm good where I am, I'll see you later," gives you subtle context to what Cloud said. This response makes sense as Cloud was silently inviting her to head down too. It also makes more sense with the next scene because Cloud would be curious why Aerith would want to stay here and not head down. I'll discuss this shortly. And finally, this line, "Let's head down," makes more sense because again, it's consistent with Cloud's character being overprotective of Aerith. Mr. Bodyguard here doesn't want her sitting at the edge of the water tower alone. She could slip and fall, the tower could collapse, who knows, but we know how Cloud is. He could very much be thinking these things because he's overprotective and he wants to make sure she is safe.
If you don't mind, I'd like to be alone.
Are you angry?
Mm-hmm.
At me?
I mentioned "let's head down" makes more sense because of how this scene opened up. Cloud would wonder why Aerith didn't want to head down with him, and he shows this in spades with his curiosity here and the tone in his voice.
Not at you. At everything. Must be nice to have a friend you've known since you were a kid. Someone you can say, "Remember the time when?" to. Someone you can reminisce with. I don't have anyone like that, and it feels like I'm being taunted for it, which stings more than it should. That is why I want to be alone. Plus, I might take it out on you, and I don't want that.
I don't mind.
Well, I do, and it'd only make me feel worse. Thank you, though. Really. I'll be down in a bit. See you then.
Wow, this scene is incredible, isn't it? This scene shouldn't have been quote-unquote optional. I say that because it's likely every player saw this scene, unless they said, "Nope, I'm not talking to Aerith anymore." This scene is incredibly important to both Cloud and Aerith's characters, and is a big growth point in their relationship. Seriously, both of these scenes should have just been combined as one big cutscene. Anyways, there is a lot to unpack here. When we take a look at Aerith's lines here, wow, it just hit so hard. Aerith realizes during her conversation with Cloud during the first cutscene that she doesn't have anyone from her childhood with whom she can share memories, someone with whom she can talk about what happened in her past. She envies Cloud and Tifa's friendship because she never had a childhood friend. The Ultimania confirmed this as well, this envy that she was feeling at this moment.
I would have given anything to have a friend when I was growing up. Don't take her for granted.
Keep in mind, not too long ago, right before they arrived in Nibelheim in chapter 10, in Cosmo Canyon in front of the torch, Aerith opened up to everyone about her dark past and how she has always felt different. These memories of her past are still fresh in her mind from that scene. During this scene, she starts going through a cyclone of emotions internally. Even though she feels down and upset, she can still communicate clearly with Cloud. And Cloud then comes out and says in a soft and caring voice, "I don't mind." Wow. This was a huge moment for Cloud. His empathy for Aerith shined through. Aerith is very much vulnerable at this spot. Aerith isn't perfect, and it was huge for the player to see that she got really emotional and needed to take a moment to herself to settle down and think on it without taking it out on Cloud. Aerith knows that if she ever lashed out at Cloud or took something out on him, she'd feel devastated and probably would find it incredibly difficult to forgive herself. When Aerith responded to Cloud, "Even though you don't mind, I'd get upset with you. I mind." This is establishing boundaries, which is crucial in a relationship. Such a huge moment showing the relationship is building and getting deeper at this moment. Aerith was able to gather herself and tell Cloud to let her be alone because she was upset, showing that how caring she is about Cloud's feelings, and also the same for Cloud, stepping up and assuring her that she has an outlet to vent to or speak about anything bothering her. That said, Cloud didn't press Aerith about this. He respected the fact that she needed to be alone for now and process her feelings. Cloud learned that certain things are out of his hands when it comes to Aerith. Remember, no one takes their job as a bodyguard as seriously as Cloud Strife does. But he can accept that sometimes he must not do anything and back off. I cannot emphasize how much these scenes showed their trust in each other building. Amazing scenes here, and they have grown to be among my favorite scenes in Rebirth. Oh, and by the way, the dev I mentioned earlier that stated the second scene was their favorite was Nojima. Nojima says, "I suppose it's the scene with Aerith on the water tower, speaking with her for the second time. Her lines, tone of voice, facial expressions, and the way she kicks her legs show that she was struggling with her feelings because she had no one to share her childhood memories with, or even the concept of a hometown. It's perfect." The water tower sequence in chapter 11 between Cloud and Aerith was incredible. This sequence added more depth to Aerith and Cloud's characters and spotlighted their relationship evolving to a deeper level. Their trust is becoming formidable, and their respect for each other's boundaries shows how healthy their relationship truly is and is growing ever more.